welcome to episode 182 of EDH Commander Challenge. I'm your host, BT. And I'm a mostly healed BT, by the way. I missed you guys. Thank you to everyone who gave me some form of well wishes as I was recovering recently. By the way, this episode is brought to you by our awesome patrons. Thank you as always for your kind and generous support. We love you all. Shoutouts to one patron in particular, the big monster Dean Dobson, who got himself some custom sleeves from yourplaymat.com with our very own logo on it. We can't thank you enough for the support. You rock, good sir. Don't forget everyone, if you plan to get your own custom sleeves or a playmat, please check out yourplaymat.com and use our promo code BT10YP or our affiliate link in the description below to receive 10% off your order. This way you get some sweet swag at a cheaper price and help out the channel at the same time. Now then, let's jump in and check out those opening hands. First, in this corner, with an opening hand of a forest, swamp, snow-covered plains, Soul Ring, Yawgmoth Thran Physician, Liliana Dreadhorde General, Safi Eric's daughter, and his Abzan General Colfenor, the last U. He is the Bookman. This is Phil. And in this corner, with an opening hand of a forest, myriad landscape, Path of Ancestry, Bredegard's Stronghold, Oblivion Ring, Open the Armory, Pure Steel Paladin, and his Celestia-style general Catti-brie of Mithral Hall. He is the unpredictable Jimmy. Jimmy won the dice roll to start us off, so let's begin this Abzan vs Celestia-style card fight. For their first turns, Jimmy plays a tapped Myriad Landscape, while Phil goes from a snow-covered plains into a turn 1 Soul Ring. Jimmy plays a forest, while Phil plays a swamp and casts Sculpting Steel, making it into a copy of his Soul Ring. In response, Jimmy casts Worldly Tutor to place a Reclamation Sage on the top of his deck. Jimmy plays Path of Ancestry tapped and passes. Phil plays a forest and casts his general, Colfenor, and passes. Jimmy plays Bredegard's Stronghold tapped and cast Oblivion Ring to exile Colfenor. Phil moves it back to the command zone instead as Jimmy passes. For Phil's turn, he casts Scrap Trawler, followed by Arcbound Ravager, and finally Safi Eric's daughter, before passing. Jimmy plays Thriving Grove, calling white, and casts Reclamation Sage, and targets the Arcbound Ravager. In response, stating he, quote, has a plan, Phil sacks his Soul Ring to the Ravager, placing a +1/+1 counter on it, and then also sacrifices Safi, targeting the Ravager. Then the Sage resolves, killing the Ravager, which also triggers the Trawler, returning the Soul Ring back to Phil's hand, and the Ravager returns to play thanks to Safi's effect before Jimmy passes. For Phil's turn, he simply recasts the Soul Ring and passes, confusing both Jimmy and I. Jimmy plays a Plains, and casts Open the Armory, which he uses to net the equipment Cliffhaven Kite Sail from his deck to his hand. Next, he casts his general Catti-brie, followed by the kite sail he just tutored for. And with its effect, he attaches it to his general, giving it flying. Then he moves into combat and attacks with his Reclamation Sage. Phil declares no blocks and takes 2 damage before Jimmy passes. Phil sadly didn't draw any land here, and he's just 1 mana short of recasting his commander and is sadly forced to pass the turn. Jimmy starts his turn by casting Sword of Hours, which he equips to Catti. Then he moves into combat and attacks with both his Sage and Catti, who triggers herself and gains 2 +1/+1 counters, as she has 2 equipments on her, plus 1 more thanks to the Sword of Hours attack trigger. Again, Phil declares no blocks and takes a total of 7 damage. This triggers the second effect of the Sword of Hours, having Jimmy roll a d12. He rolls an 11, and as the number is higher than the damage he dealt, the sword doubles the +1/+1 counters on Catti, making her into an 8/8. In his second main phase, Jimmy casts Pure Steel Paladin and passes. Phil draws and still doesn't get a new land and is forced to pass again. Jimmy starts his turn by casting Zephyr Boots. This triggers his Paladin and he gets to draw a card. And now he also has Metalcraft, making all his equip costs become 0. Jimmy then plays a Forest and equips his boots to his Reclamation Sage. Then he moves into combat and once again attacks with both his Sage and Catti. Thanks to Catti's trigger and the sword's trigger, Catti gains another 3 +1/+1 counters. Once again, Phil declares no blocks, and this time takes a total of 13 damage. #ouch. The sword's second trigger happens, but this time Jimmy rolls an 8, so the counters do not get doubled. In his second main phase, Jimmy casts Toski. And don't worry guys, I'll address what we're all thinking about later. Anyways, Jimmy passes. Phil is desperate here and finally draws a new land in Fetid Heath. He decides to go for broke and search for a much needed removal spell to deal with Catti-brie. He casts Yawgmoth, Thran's Physician. Then he uses its effect to pay 1 life and sacrifice his Ravager to place a -1/-1 counter on Catti and draw a card. He repeats this, sacrificing his Trawler and places another -1/-1 counter on Catti and draws again. Then he recasts and sacrifices his Ravager, placing another -1/-1 counter on Catti and drawing a card. He finally draws a removal spell, which in this case is Anguished Unmaking. But he's just 1 mana too short to cast it. And as he can't survive another hit from Catti, he scoops it up and Jimmy takes the win. Poor Phil. He wasn't short on mana as more as he was like color short this game. If you don't believe me, he was 1 white mana away from casting an Elish Norn he had in his hand, which would have really slowed Jimmy down. As a result of being color short, Jimmy had all the time he needed to take a near unstoppable lead. I would have loved to have seen the Yawgmoth Thran physician do more. I mean, it was putting Phil on the fast track to getting back into the game, but sadly, it was too little, too late for today. As for Jimmy himself, he made quite a few misplays, like not casting his Pure Steel Paladin before playing his equipments for more draw power, casting Toski in his second main phase rather than before when he dealt combat damage that turn, which would have got him more draw power. But even with those errors, his strategy went virtually unopposed here. He took out Phil's general early and then just battered him over and over and over again until the end of the game. And by the way, the Sword of Hours is just evil. I'm going to get a playset of that card as quickly as possible while it's cheap. Its synergy with Catti-brie is no joke, as proven here. With our picks, let us know in the comments down below. Also, if you enjoy our content, consider becoming a patron. We'll give you access to entries into our prize tournaments, bonus entries into our giveaways, your nickname is part of our EDHCC club, and so much more. Also, don't forget, if you're looking to get some new custom sleeves or playmats, please check out yourplaymat.com and use our promo code BT10YP or the affiliate link in the description below to receive 10% off your order. This gives you access to cool swag at a cheaper price, and it helps out the channel at the same time. That's it for this week. Thank you all so much for watching. It really means a lot to me. Stay warm, stay safe, and keep on card gaming. Love you all. Cheers.